All right, episode 195. You're probably wondering what this title is all about because it's 144 days left until your new career. You're going to find out what that means starting right now.
No.
All right, episode 195. What was that, Jesse?
We're getting so close.
What are you saying? Whoa. All right. Look, read the title. You're wondering, what the heck does this mean? 144 days until my new career.
We are too.
And it's going to be a little, this is going to be a little reality check. That's the easiest way to put it. We're 144 days left until 2024. The market seems like it's all over the place. That's that's what everyone wants to talk about. How's the real estate market? How's interest rates? And we have the best person to talk about what's going on with the mortgage interest rates because we've got Mortgage Mike in person today.
What's up?
Wearing his bright red poppin' shirt over there. Poppin'. The Mortgage Mike group. So if you're needing to get that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval, he should do his own freaking spot on this right now because he's here.
I think I'm the only person, well, Jesse, because he's very humble, that doesn't have shirts with my name on it. Nick wears the Good Home Team shirts. Mike's wearing the Mortgage Mike. I just need to, mine isn't going to be a brand. It's just going to say Brian Force on it. It's right here.
With a mustache.
With a mustache.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When did the mustache? Did you just grow that overnight?
Well, I grew a beard first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, that's how it works?
How it works.
Wait, is that how mustaches are made?
That's how much.
Oh.
So where do mustaches come from?
I didn't even know. I guess mine's coming soon then.
I gotta sell her out. My old lady loves it.
Does she?
I honestly think it looks kind of silly. No, I'm not kidding.
Okay.
I oftentimes want to shave it to look younger.
I want to take you right now.
Yeah. Do people to shave it? So let's get back to the Mortgage Mike. So if you're looking for that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval, he can't give it to you right now because he's on the show. But right after, he will give you that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval because he's approving everybody who wants a home loan only today.
Never denied a single applicant.
That's right.
There's an expiration date in 30 seconds.
Yeah, only today. And so go to mmgloans.com. That's Mortgage Mike Group. So that's what MMG stands for, mmgloans.com. And, next is our buddy Theron. And Theron, we need to group text you on this one. You need to reach out to us, buddy, because not only do you got that hard shell protection, right, over at Armadillo Home Warranty, so go to armadillo.1/tour. But, we just need to get you on the show and have a little sponsorship conversation to say, hey, come on this show and share all about the home warranties. So armadillo.1/tour. And then last but not least, Dana went over at Homeward DFW.
We are maybe expanding again further north. Ooh. We were asked about it today.
Wait, what?
I'm not going to put that out there just yet. Seriously. But Dana actually didn't freak out about it.
What is that further north, like Oklahoma?
Like, well, I don't want to...
I mean, pretty much.
But yeah,
Canada.
basically.
Canada.
I don't want to say it on the show just yet because if we don't do it, if people start sending us referrals there...
Well, then we have to expand. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. I mean,
all
you
right.
know.
All right.
How far... It's... Yeah. But Dana's excited about it. And we're rocking and rolling. We really appreciate all the referrals, and we are...
The North Pole.
The North Pole, 100%.
HomewardDFW.com.
And second to last but not least, Tour Freaking Studios. Home of the only real estate podcast worth listening to and many other amazing shows. If you want to get your podcast going, create some content, grow your audience, build your brand, sound really cool on camera, check out Tore, T-O-R-E, studios.com. Book a call with young Jesse. Tell him your vision. He'll make it happen.
Do you know who's coming in to take advantage of Tore Studios?
Wow. I think I know who you're talking about.
Who?
Miss Beth Silverman.
Dang, how'd you know?
We talked about it. I gave it away.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
She's moving all of her
couple weeks.
She's
Yeah.
flying in. We got clients that fly in.
Yeah. So
High tech.
torstudios.com. So let's get to the fun part of this, right? So 144 days till your new career. And while this is going to sound grim in the beginning, this is hopefully this will shed some light on maybe lighten a fire under you, because 144 days until your new career means that January 1st it will be time to pay your association dues.
That is the day.
Yeah.
It's decision-making gut check time.
Yeah. What is it in the mortgages? Do you have like January we have to do our renewals.
Yeah.
So I think it's like $300 or $400.
It's the big one. Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Because you pay fourth quarter just like 90 days before that.
Yeah.
And then
That's
they hit you with
usually
that.
what fourth quarter is, yeah.
I know, but it feels like every year it feels like, didn't I just pay you guys?
Yeah.
It's basically the same on the mortgage space.
Yeah.
We start all of we had to continuing education. Everybody does it October, like November. You're starting to push it. By the time if you do it in November, they may not approve it by the time New Year rolls around.
Let me ask you a better question. This proves that you don't need to know very much to be successful in real estate. What does NMLS stand for? I've never known.
National Mortgage Licensing System. I am so glad I knew that. I slowed
Saw
down
you piece it together.
everything. I was like, holy crap! If I mess this one up,
Is every
okay.
loan officer an NMLS person?
Like realtor? You don't have to be a realtor?
so yes, every loan officer has an NMLS ID. However, the licensing requirement is different depending on what you're doing. In other words, if you're working for a bank, you're under their bank charter. So you can be
Yeah.
licensed in all 50
Like
states,
national,
but
yeah.
you're not taking the actual test to get licensed, whereas I'm an independent broker, so I have to be licensed in every single state that I want to lend in.
Right. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Well, the more you know.
And I know the lending world is probably feeling the same pain because of where rates are, and we're seeing that little bit of a decline. And people are wondering how to get business. And so, again, 144 days till your new career means, are you going to pay and renew your license and keep going, or is it time for you to go look for a new job?
Yeah.
Maybe you're like, what, I'm not cut out for this.
Sure.
Even though you probably are, you're just right now not doing the necessary steps.
Well, I think that we've all had conversations about this in different regards, and not to bury the lead or spoil the ending here, but like we haven't talked about pure mindset on the show in a long time, and the idea of like what is going to happen in the next 144 days or whatever, right? Like the gut check moment and the reality check and what we need to be doing. We've spent so much time in the last year, not just on this show, but across the industry and conversation around like, what is the opportunity right now? We talk about riches in the niches and problems are solved, or money is made when problems are solved and things like that.
Money changes hands.
Money changes hands, when problems are solved. And all that stuff is true. And what is so interesting about this market environment right now is that we can't really get a handle on it. It's this very weird moment in history where inventory is still kind of low, prices are going up, but rates are high, buyers are scared. Like it feels kind of like a difficult situation on both sides of the fence. And so I think that we're maybe looking in the wrong areas. Is not like, hey, what's the play here? What's the move? What's the angle? How can I? In the Great Recession, it was, let's start lead generating for banks instead of people and get those REO accounts. Like that's the Pat Hyben method, right? That was a play. That was an angle. Here, I think one of the things that we got to face facts on is like, there's no angle. The reality is, the opportunity here is you've got 144 days before a lot of competition probably gets out of the way. What are you going to do right now to set yourself up for success when maybe a lot of people don't write that check on January 1st, and now the amount of deals per agent tends to go up again?
Is it, by the way, are we saying that it's truly really competition that's leaving, or it's the potential competition that's leaving? Because
I think if you parlay this conversation, well, the statistic we had about what do we call them, marginal agents, a few weeks ago?
Yeah,
didn't
we
we
didn't call them that, by the way.
We didn't call them that. That was just we were just saying it. It was in the song.
Yeah.
I think we pulled that stat from last year, so I don't know if it's current, but it's like 33% of deals or something like that. And so, I mean, at least those agents that are doing very few deals, that might be what gets.
And a margin, that was the report that that NAR pushed out. It wasn't a NAR report, so we did say that NAR doesn't care about you, but it wasn't NAR. It was another one that NAR then helped kind of publish or maybe promote or just put out in front of the public's eye. And
We do no retractions in the show.
yeah, no, we're doubling down on
dying
it,
with
man. And so the definition of that marginal agent is selling 5 homes or less a year. They're working part-time, so they're probably dual career. And ultimately, what we're seeing is, will they leave the industry, or does that marginal agent definition stay strong and true? Because we have, as people are like, oh, do I want to pay that $400 or whatever it is at the beginning of the year? We see more people slipping into that. They go and get quote unquote a real job. I hate to say that analogy, but that's their thought
9 to
process.
5.
Yeah, 9 to 5, a
Stability.
corporate job, W-2, and when in reality, that there's so much opportunity right now, they're just not looking at it, or looking for it.
I agree. I think there's also one more maybe category of like when you call it like the potential competition that gets out of the way is like the agents that were relatively new that had a great few years and then started to create a lifestyle off of those great few years.
Yeah.
And now it's a different environment. Are they like, is this still makes sense? So I think it's more than just the marginal agent.
Yeah, no.
Regardless, the opportunity is the same.
Look, there's obviously less transactions are happening, right? So less transactions happening. We had an abundance of licensed agents. How many licensed and NMLS loan officers were there?
I don't know the number.
3 million.
I don't know the number.
I don't know. It's 2.6 million
Yeah.
realtors. 3 million sounds. Are there more realtors or mortgage licensees?
There's got to be more realtors.
Yeah, it's
For
easier.
sure.
It's an easier test.
Because you can do that part-time. You can't really be a part-time loan
that's
officer.
true. You really can.
I mean, you could try, but
The test
good
is
luck.
harder too.
Tests, I
It's
don't
much harder.
It's much harder.
Yeah.
I'll say for my own confidence, it is much harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Probably 10 times harder.
You took it like 5 times, right?
One time, baby.
yeah.
86.
5 times just the other 4 were just for fun.
Yeah.
I actually tattooed the score on my arm. I'm just
86.
86.
I don't know if I'd brag about it.
That was not bad. I promise you, considering the scores I was hearing, that's not
What'd
bad.
you get? You did it when it was still. They gave you your number. What's your number?
No, it was pass or fail.
Yeah, pass or fail.
I don't remember a number. It's when you don't pass it, because I failed. I failed one portion of it. When I took
making fun of me.
When I took the real estate exam, I failed the national exam. The state one I passed.
Yeah.
And I failed by 1 on national, and only because I had been working at a real estate brokerage as an assistant.
Yeah.
And so to me, the questions they asked, there was the real answer
It wasn't practical.
versus what NAR wanted the answer to be.
Sometimes having experience in real estate is like the worst thing to
Yes.
pass the real estate exam.
Yeah.
I imagine law is probably the same way.
Well, on the mortgage side, it's all about regulation. It's
Yeah.
not about actually doing a loan.
yes.
So, I mean, come on.
100%.
So, when we look at this, again, going back to the 144 days to your new career, you could look at this as, do you want to do the necessary things that's going to set you up for success, which there's way too often what I'm saying, and this could backfire on both of us in terms of how I say this, because we are always
I'm glad you're including me in this.
yeah. Well, because as a team lead, we're always working on attracting. We're always trying to work on attracting. I don't know what that background is.
What's the picture about
Gotcha,
that?
see?
I was just like,
As a team lead, we're always trying to attract agents to our team to put them in a better position to win.
yeah, 100%.
Right. So
That's what we're charged with.
Yeah. And so ultimately, what I'm seeing agents that are looking at, they've got their eyes on a different brokerage, hoping that brokerage is going to give them a different result.
I've used this. Please throw that up if you can.
That's amazing.
I have used this analogy so many times, and I don't think it's any more relevant than this conversation, right? Like a lot of agents, a lot of people, mortgage, real estate people in general, they're like a bear caught in a barbed wire fence right now. And if you can imagine this analogy, a bear caught in a barbed wire fence, right? And they're thrashing about just trying to figure out the fastest way to get out of this painful situation, right? Like, they hate it. It hurts, right? But what they don't realize is the more that they resist the situation, the more that they thrash about, they're tightening the barbed wire around them. They're making it more painful. It's cutting into their flesh. If what they really did was just accept the fact that they were stuck in a fence and then look down and start to pull the painful pieces of barbed wire off, just do the work, do the stuff that you don't want to do, they would be free so much more quickly. But they thrash about and they try to find this momentary alleviation, and it just tightens and tightens. And that's what you're not doing well, and you blame the brokerage, or or it's the market, or it's this. When the reality is, guys, at the end of the day, at least 4 million people will buy what you're selling this year in this country. You can go get a piece of that pie. You might really have to do some stuff that you didn't maybe have to do the last few years. And it might, if you have the wrong mentality, you might even think it sucks. You know what also sucks? Going and starting over and doing something else that you hate doing in the first place. Don't be the bear in the trap.
I see, that we look at it from a we're mentally exhausted and we're tired. Katie, that was a great image. That's a great
Thank
logo. I think you have a career in logo making because you made that so quick.
That's really fast.
And if you're listening to this on a podcast or whatever, just go to our YouTube or Facebook and go and rewatch what Jesse threw up on the screen of Brian Force's new logo. But we get mentally exhausted and we get tired of that grind, and it doesn't seem like we're going to get a win. And so they are like, man, I can just go get a W-2 job. Mm-hmm. I'm guaranteed a paycheck, even if I slack off a little bit. And I'm not saying that they're lazy or that they slack off any out of their time, but if you don't come in, or if you come in and you're like, I'm a little hungover, I'm a little tired, you're still getting paid for that day.
Yes, the Johnny Manziel paycheck, bro.
Don't get me started on that.
We're going to talk about that later.
Did you watch the documentary?
I want to talk about it later for sure.
I haven't seen it, but
All
I don't
I've heard
need
is
to
the
see it. I don't
commentary,
need to
and
see
I just
it.
want to talk about that.
I can already tell you how it goes.
Jesse saw it.
I haven't seen
No, he
it. I
hasn't
just
seen it.
heard.
I've
the
started
commentary.
watching. It's really good.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
let's check it out. Is it worth resubscribing to Netflix for?
Yes.
Okay. We'll
Is
talk
he
about
going to get money if I tune in?
it. Yeah, does he get any
No, he's already got paid.
I think he's already. Yeah, he's already been paid.
flat
so,
fee?
Yeah.
Uncle Nate brokered it.
yeah.
If you can promise me he'll never make a cent off of me, then I'll tune in.
He wanted to go to the Longhorns, though.
He grew up a Longhorn
Yeah, I
fan.
know.
It's true.
I
So
know.
you got to love him.
All right, we're gonna
Maybe
circle back.
maybe
We're
you
gonna
should
circle back on
hate
that.
on your own.
And we didn't recruit Andrew
alma
Luck.
mater.
I get it. I
We'll
understand.
circle back. Luck was a big miss. We'll circle back on
Texas
I mean,
is a big state.
that. That's true.
The University of Texas is a big miss.
Yeah. You got Texas Tech colors on anyway.
Yeah, it's not type deep.
I also have
enough, right?
Rutgers colors on. Okay, let's
That's
move
more
on.
Rutgers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Have fun in the SEC.
Mike's trying to.
I don't
say
have
that
enough
to
time
get
for
drawn
all
off
this.
sides. I know.
Because I will unleash a wrath momentarily. I just do not have enough time for this.
We'll end with that.
Yeah.
Whenever we get there, regardless. I mean, you're saying, but I like you're just your opportunity right now. I think that we're spending so much like mental energy trying to figure out what is the answer besides show up, do the work, and even if you do that, Gary Keller said this at the mastermind that I was at, like literally in the middle of last year. He's just like, you need to just accept the fact that 2023 is not going to be your best year financially. So what are you going to make it your best year of? Your best year of building habits, your best year of developing your skill set, your best year of developing your passions in other parts of your life. Is like when you make it the best year of the other parts of your business or your life, you're going to set yourself up to have your best financial years to come when that wave comes again. But you're looking to try and make more money every year. That's not always possible without expanding your skill set or just getting better habits or just diving deeper.
Well, one of the contrasts about the 9 to 5 versus what we do is the 9 to 5, you do an action, there's an immediate result, right? And you understand, again, you're going to get paid regardless of what that result is, but there's still an immediate result. If you do the fundamentals and the results aren't coming overnight, that leads to frustration, that leads to anxiety, that leads to mind wandering, the bear in the barbed wire looking at the other bear in the barbed wire saying, hey, how do we get out of this, right? Well, so we'll pull the damn barbed wire off, right? Stay with the fundamentals long enough and eventually things are going to go your way. It just may take a lot more time in this market compared to what it was 2, 3, 4, 10 years ago. It's been 10 years ago.
Or you're not trained up on it anymore, or you're out of the training side of things because you can
Just had to do it.
Yeah, you can easily lose that effort of like, man, do I need to like part of your mentality, especially for we've been in it a while. It's like, man, I don't want to go back to what I was doing when I was younger. Like, I'm older now. Like, I'm that veteran. I shouldn't have to do that.
What's really hard. I'm sorry to interrupt, because this is perfect. Like, if you're like a success story in like fitness, like you never really worked out in your life, and then you were like really overweight, and then you got in great shape, right? Like, there's something about that like you're on this journey where you started from a place where like every day always got a little better. As long as you were disciplined, you're always moving in the right direction. What's really hard is like when you grow up and you have like a really fast metabolism and you're just in shape all the time, and then you hit your 30s and you let everything go and you gain 50 pounds. Like, that first few weeks of trying to get back into it, you just feel like, I shouldn't have to do this.
Or it's like Johnny Manziel being super gifted in football his entire life and getting to the NFL and watching zero film and failing miserably.
Admitting he watched zero film.
So last week, I got to go. A buddy of mine, and now he was a friend of the show, Alan Stein Jr. Right. So he was. I don't even remember what episode now. Episode 180, 185, something like that. Did we talk about this last week?
We talked about this last week.
Did we? Let's just do a reminder of this then. Like, he talked about in his story, he got the privilege to meet and kind of coach with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And the first time he met Kobe, it was at a practice, and Kobe invited him to Kobe's own practice the next day.
Yeah.
So Kobe had his own practice on top of another practice. So that should say a lot of things already.
Yeah.
But Kobe's like telling Alan, he's like, hey, come to my practice tomorrow at 4. He's like, oh, 4 p.m.? He's like, no, 4 a.m. Like, okay. So he sets his alarm clock for 3 o'clock. He's like, I'm going to beat Kobe there. I'm going to show up early. I'm going to show up at 3:30.
Yeah.
Gets out of his Uber at 3:30. Lights are already on. Here's the ball bouncing, the shoes squeaking, the sneakers squeaking. Shows in. He's already been in his practice since I think 2:30, 2:45, and then he's watching Kobe practice, and he's doing like, that's what we were talking about, free throws from last week, and we found out, I think Danny Force was saying he's like 87%.
He's not quite as good at free throws, but everything else.
But he was still shooting and practicing all the basics.
Yes.
Even though he's one of the best in the game. One of the best in the game. And the things that we talk about is like, we're not going to do certain things to get out of our comfort zone, or things that we used to do we're no longer going to do because we feel like it's beneath us and we're past that. And that was in the beginning of our real estate career.
I to speak to exactly that, I heard a really good question posed on the Lifestyle Investor podcast. So I was listening at the gym this morning, which you turned me on to, and I can't remember the guest's name. Jason Dries, really good elite like business coach. Coaches a lot of the GoBundance guys.
Yep.
And coaches Brandon Turner. And
Manziel.
And Johnny Manziel. And
I love today.
It's not undefeated at coaching. And so the question he posed, he was like, working on your mindset stuff. He's like, what would be impossible to accomplish in 6 months, but if you tried to accomplish it anyway, would set you up for untold amounts of success for the rest of your life?
Man, that's
right?
powerful.
Yeah, just like knowing, like, what's the thing that, just being realistic, what's the thing that you might, if you're trying to go sell 300 houses in the next 6 months, right? Probably, if you're starting from zero, impossible. Mm-hmm. But what if you tried anyway? What else would that do for you?
Oh, no, I sold 150.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, right? It's like an actual realistic spin on the 10X mentality. It's like, why don't you just accomplish, or why don't you just accept that you're going to have to take massive, massive action to accomplish great things? And even if you don't you still accomplish some pretty cool stuff, right?
How old is the book Think and Grow Rich?
1920s, 30s.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill, I would say 30s.
Right. Long time ago. Close.
Yeah.
Let's say close to 100 years, whatever we want to call it.
It's probably 100
80
years. Yeah.
Is it any wonder why it still resonates with people today? Because it's about fundamentals. It's about people. It's about relationships. It's about treating people like they matter. And that just gets down to basic principles. It's not doing anything crazy. It's not this super niche marketing. Niches are cool. If you find one, great. There are some out there, but they're also, a dime a dozen. They're not a dime a dozen. That's the wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
Needle in a haystack.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So at the end of the day, if you aren't getting the results you expect, you might have to double down on that work, and that's okay. Like, that's all right. We've been spoiled with beautiful markets and easy sales. You pick up the phone, you're going to close a deal. That's cool. That's great. We will have a different view of those markets in the future because it's been a paradigm shift, right? It's going to reset our line of thinking. We're not spoiled anymore. We're having to grind. So when those markets come back, we're going to look at it like, my God, this is amazing. It's rare. I better take advantage of this. But if you do the things now, try to sell the 300 homes in a month or 6 months or whatever, when things get to where they're a little bit more just easier, we'll just say easier, my God, you're going to prosper. But you've got to do the fundamentals. And again, if you want to throw some cool marketing, if you're super creative, that's great. But that's not the majority of the people. It's the 80-20 rule. The 80% need to stick to the basics and do those over and over and over again every single week. Don't deviate from that plan.
Yep.
And you will have success at some point. It will happen.
I mean, you talk about the W-2 job, right? Like, you're going to spend 8 hours a day most likely doing stuff you don't want to do. Like, what if you just accepted that you're going to lead generate for 4 hours a day right now and just did it?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the mindset that would build over the course of 12 months and what you would accomplish? And the fact that we're making it any more complicated than that, it's like we're trying to figure our way out of this when we just need to go through it.
And again, we talk about the pain. People just don't know how to deal with the lack of immediate results. That's the struggle because, again, we've come off so many amazing, easy years that the first sight of struggle is deterring us from doing what we know we are supposed to be doing. And that's the thing that people have to remember. Put your nose down and grind because it will come back. It will improve. Things will get better. But stop asking your buddy for what they're doing to be successful. You already know what to do to be successful. Just freaking do it.
People move away from pain and move towards pleasure. And, they might be seeing someone in the industry that is maybe newer and having more success than them. And so what we start to see is that people start to hop around with lead generation strategies and ideas. And it's kind of like if you're at a fishing hole at a pond, and I see Mortgage Mike throwing his line in, and he's just within minutes reeling up a fish.
Yeah.
And I've been there for hours. I'm like, man, I haven't caught anything.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he takes that fish off and throws his line in. Another couple minutes goes by, he pulls another one in. What am I going to do? I'm like, what is he doing over there? What's he doing?
And the thing is, that's pervasive even in good markets. You're always like, you
Yes.
run a massive real estate team. Last year we combined for almost $300 million in sales. And when we talk to other team operators, we're always like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So you do that even in good markets. It's exacerbated in
Yeah, it just doesn't hurt in a good market.
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
but-
man, that's cool.
yeah.
How'd you do that?
But then when your thing isn't working as well, you're like doing that
Now
on
it's like,
steroids.
oh, shit, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and you got to look at, again, everything works, and then again, I wear this out with my team. Money changes hands when problems are solved. Where's the problem in their marketplace? We hear people, I need more buyer leads. Like, no. Why has it been the industry standard? Not even just industry standard. It's been the it's just engraved at list to last.
Yeah.
and you're able to control your time better, because the first thing that we're hearing right now is that I'm working, not getting results, but I'm out showing. It's costing me money. Buyers are not. They're looking at tons of houses now because inventory is going up.
And they're a little gun shy too.
Yes.
I mean, every time we talk about the Fed or whatever, it just makes a buyer feel a little sketchy. I mean, it just is.
It brings them back to their Great Recession days.
Yeah, that's what it does.
Yes.
Because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
It just feels weird.
Well, and this is going to happen tomorrow. So tomorrow we get our CPI report, and inflation is going to go up tomorrow. Even though inflation overall is coming down in general, we're removing a data point that was pretty low last year and replacing it with a higher one. Not a bad one, but a higher one, which means CPI will go up. But if you actually understand the numbers, it's still a good number.
Yeah, okay.
But the news...
we're in August, so that was really last year.
Yes, so...
That was our first big clip downward last year.
And so it was a very good reading last year. So,
you're right,
if
Jesse.
You go to
we got to
CNBC,
short everything tomorrow.
If you go to CNBC tomorrow, it's only going to read inflation goes up. Now, are we going to see another Fed rate hike? Are we losing the battle on inflation? Right, that's what will be reported
relative,
tomorrow.
but we don't see it that way.
They don't actually report the facts; they're just reporting the headlines.
People don't understand that CNBC, which we watch all day in the office, is just ESPN. It was entertainment, sports, problems network. What's ESPN stand for?
Entertainment Sports Network.
Well, what's the P?
Oh, I forgot the P.
Sports and parachutes. Now I got to look that up. Here's the thing. You say money changes hands when problems are solved, and you're 100% right. And part of the overcoming that, sports programming, part of overcoming that right now is that you're just going to have to dig a little deeper to find people whose problems you can solve. And we're not embodying that, right? What was the problem for you to solve in 2021? I want a house, so does everyone else. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, right? That was like the only problem to solve. And it was how high can you go was the way to solve it. You're just going to have to get more repetitions in now. There are plenty of people out there doing deals right now. Like our North Texas MLS systems, it's still 3,000 new homes under contract every day. It's not like nothing's happening. You're going to have to change your habits a little bit. And if you're abiding by the idea that money will change hands when problems are solved, you got to just go through more repetitions to find more people whose problems you can solve. It's as simple as that. And don't we all wish it was different? But at the same time, when you survive in advance, a lot less competent. If it stayed like this forever, then the market would completely normalize in 12 months, meaning the exact amount of realtors per deal would be in the business as there were in 2021. Mm-hmm. It would take less than a year for the people who weren't making a living off of this to decide to not do this anymore. It would be less than a year of pain. If only 4 million homes sold every year again, eventually there would be 1.2 million realtors, and that's it. It would just go like these things happen in tandem. We're just in a period of adjustment right now.
Sure.
And this is what you can do to really pierce right through that period of adjustment. It's just acknowledge you're going to have to talk to more people, get more repetitions to find those people whose problems you can solve. If you deny it, try to find your niche or try to jump over to the next opportunity, you're the bear in the trap.
One of the things it's an adjustment for my business is it used to be I would have 20 or 30 pre-qualified clients just sitting in the hopper, right? I knew at any point that dam was going to break and I was going to have 10 closings in a month, right? I could somewhat...
You knew when the next wave was coming.
More or less, right? Like I knew I was protected. Something was going to happen.
Yep.
It didn't have to be this month or next month. Something was going to happen, right? Right now, it's a situation of I don't have a bunch of pre-qualified clients. I have maybe 5 pre-qualified clients, 10 at a given time, right? And really my contracts are coming from, hey, I have a client that wants to go look at a home. Can you pre-qualify them right now? They're interested in making an offer. Yeah. They come out of the blue. And that's a weird way to have have faith in my business and the things that I'm doing, because I don't know when those calls are going to come.
It's because people aren't getting pre-qualified as soon in advance now?
Yes.
Because they don't need to.
Because they don't need to. Yeah. The market allows the buyer to kind of control the process a little bit right now.
Right.
And, it's a lot of times, I don't want to call it spur of the moment decision, but, there's something that kind of forces them into that decision a lot of times now. So it's just...
They're taking longer to get ready, but then when they get ready, they're going.
It's, hey, we thought we were just browsing Redfin or whatever website and online, and we're kind of interested, and they reach out to one of the referral partners, and boom, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
That has been my last several. It's not somebody that I've had for 6 months that I've been working with. It's stuff like that, hey, that's a little unnerving at times, because I can't project out, what my sales are going to be, what my commissions are going to be. And I imagine if I'm having that same issue, well, that translates directly to you guys as well. So again, it's another thing that weighs on our emotions. It weighs on our psyche, and it's just it's more attack on what we do daily and what we believe is the right action to take. So I get it. Look, we're all in the same foxhole together, and it's nobody's alone in this. Yeah, it is a struggle, but we've got to remember that if we were successful before, keep doing what you're doing. Just do it at a higher clip, do more of it, and eventually it will turn around.
And we were, for those that was pre-COVID, this is the same market.
Bro, this is the fucking market.
Yes.
Listings sit for 60 to 90 days. We grew up in this.
Yeah. And so, we built successful businesses in that. Now, again, the newer ones are having to navigate this. And that's the biggest challenge for them. They're having to do. They didn't build the fundamental foundations to have a solid concrete foundation to make sure that they've got consistent flow of business. And then when you don't have that, like what Mortgage Mike just said, is look, your worst enemy is your own self. At night, you probably are sitting there like, man, I'm going out of business. Man, where's my next client coming from? My next closing, and then you start searching. We'll call it doom scrolling. Doom scrolling, the way Brian would say it in the past, is you start doom scrolling, then you start to see these ads pop up, and everyone's happy in it. It's it's like prescription ads, drug ads,
don't read
it's
the fine print.
Yeah, it's want to make $100 billion.
Yeah, it's my arm was falling off, and the rest of my skin was falling off. But the minute I started taking this pill, I lost everything, all my sight, my taste, but it stopped the flesh from falling off, and I can't speak or write.
My relationship with my wife got a lot better.
Yes, yeah, and so they see that, and they just put that person in a rainbow picture, and it's all happy, and so they start seeing this as well, that person closed 5 deals from this one lead system. And they go and spend their last dime on it. Yeah. And it says, never cold call again. Never pick up the phone again. Never talk to any live person again.
Do we just want to believe in that stuff?
Yes,
of course we do. Yes, we do. Because that's easy. That's easy. Right? 100%.
It's easy. Yeah. You capitalize in these markets on that type of stuff.
If only I never had to network again.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't even get out of bed. Make money in your own mind
while you're sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
I never
we call it the Freddy Krueger plan.
Yeah, never had to write a contract, but I'm still closing deals and making commissions, but never leaving your house. And so, we get sucked into that because our mind plays a dirty trick on us and makes us feel like we're inferior. Makes us, we lose our self-confidence in it, and we know we just don't want to hear the right answer. We don't want to hear the real answer, which is make your calls.
Fucking calls. Do you feel like this go around is particularly more pervasive because we talked about this a little earlier before the show, because it's we're still surrounded all day, every day by the glitz and glamour of the best parts of everyone else's life all the time? Do we feel, you know what I mean? I'll tell, we'll just be incredibly transparent. We made a crazy title for this show, so we're just pulling out all the stops, right? We know people both that we have moved on from our partnerships from, right? And they're worse off right now.
Yeah.
But if you look on social media, just crushing it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to like pick on anybody. I'm just saying, like, if you magnify that across an entire industry, you know what I mean? Is this particular go around of a little bit of a rut in the market, is it different when you're trying to really get your mindset right around what you just need to accept you need to do, when it still feels like when you pull out your phone, everyone else is still having the time of their lives and you're the only one not doing exactly what you want to do? It's so much harder to until you sit down and have conversations like this to know, like, guys, this is the world right now. And I think it may be a little bit more like you got to have a Teflon mind right now.
If you approach somebody and they say everything is great right now, and they're in our industry, mortgage or real estate or whatever, everything is great, it's super easy, yeah, we're killing it, we're crushing it. Yeah. They're absolutely full of crap.
Run away from that person.
Yeah, run away, because they're not real. That's fake. Maybe they are having a great. Maybe they are more successful than the others in the area. That's fine. That's okay. But they can't deny that it's a struggle and that they had to make an adjustment, and that they had to do something different, because that is the case.
We were just talking about some people earlier that are like seventh level that
Who's
are
that?
back in the office. No, different. We were talking about some seventh level people that are back in the office at 5:45, grinding it out. Like, it's yes.
I was talking with somebody last night as well, and very successful owner of a company, mortgage company, and look, we're sharing, stories, war stories about, okay, what are we doing, and it's not the, hey, tell me what. I don't want to be hypocritical here, because I was saying, hey, don't worry about, talking to the other bear in the barbed wire. But at the same time, it's okay to rationally have a conversation about, like, okay, what are your struggles? What's working for you?
Find
just
support.
Like, it is support. It's not complaining, because that's the thing, is you can also get in that trap of reaching out to your peers and say, misery loves company, right?
Yeah.
That very much happens a lot in our industry.
Yeah.
It's okay to mastermind, if you will, right? Yeah. And the reality is everybody is looking at their business plan, their business model right now.
Yeah.
And okay, it can be as simple as just double down what you're doing, and that's fine too. It can be trying to find that niche, but it is not a normal market based on what we've done the last 3 years. It's normal before that.
Right.
So yes, people are having to analyze what they're doing.
100%. And you always still need to be learning, right? Because a lot of broken business models still worked for the last few years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, you could throw anything in, like, you could sell a house. I mean, it's we talked about in our sales meeting this week earlier, is that, what did you say, Mortgage Mike, about you can't, 85% of people, what is it about selling an overpriced listing?
I read it off your board,
I
buddy.
know.
I don't remember. All right, the saying goes, and I'm going to butcher this, that no amount of marketing can sell an overpriced home. 85% of the marketing is price or something like that.
Yep.
See, I should just get my real estate license.
You should.
I could do what all you clowns
that's
do.
a whole
Yeah.
listing
I
appointment
probably
right
should
there.
have said
Just
that
know.
clown word.
Say everybody else. knows.
you were referring to us. Yeah, you were just to
You
the
too.
the three people
Real
in this
specifically
room.
young Jesse. But
Yeah. No, I mean, I will say, like, and maybe we should do. I think it would be fun. Like, let's go back to how we did a couple shows in the past of, like, the experience is like the worst type of client, or what? Remember when we used to kick it around and
Like
say,
the biggest mistake you ever made too.
Yeah.
It's cost you money. That was a crazy.
That was
one.
fun. Like, but I think we should do a whole show on this one. But during the Great I love how I'm assuming that is Theron.
Theron.
And I love how he has the copyright symbol.
Yeah,
He
that's
did it right.
amazing.
Yeah, good job
It's
there.
an extra level.
But I remember during the Great Recession when we were building our business, I was coming into because I was in this Keller Williams office, and I was here 7 days a week. And we had a group we were just here 6 or 7 days, and on weekends we'd show up, we'd kind of chit chat, get to work, kind of share stories, and then every Tuesday there was this old restaurant bar up the road.
Wizards?
No, not Wizards. What's the one that used to be? Was it the Russian family that owned it right over here?
Yeah.
Oh, the Bavarian Grill.
It's not Bavarian Grill. No, it doesn't matter. They
Guess that's
Right
German.
across the street.
yeah,
You
next
said
to
Russian. I went
where
German.
racetrack is.
Next to
QT or whatever.
Yeah. I know.
But they on
kill me
Tuesdays they had drink specials where it was like $2. $2 was the most expensive drink.
That's an expensive water.
Yeah, and we would we would go on Tuesdays. A group of us would go, and we called it group therapy.
Yeah.
And it would be not just us. We weren't there just to have a bitch fest.
Yeah.
Like we weren't just complaining just to like complain, but it was sharing stories about, gosh, we showed 30 houses and this person still wants to keep looking, even though they found the right home.
Yeah.
And they're trying to, they're trying to make an offer, and they also want all the furniture, even though the piano in the house is a family heirloom from the last 300 years. They don't give a shit. They still want that piano, even though they don't even know how to play the piano, right? So then we would just share those stories, and it was a place to just vent, so you didn't bottle it up.
We gotta do it,
and we don't have that anymore. I don't see that happening. I mean, we were talking.
Let's collab.
Yeah, we were talking. It was like we used to know who the up and comers were. We used to know in the industry, and I just feel like there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
With we've gone so virtual.
Yeah.
That everyone just wants to stay at home.
That's true. We do need that. We should collab on that.
This is a genius
Let's all collab
networking
on that.
idea.
Let's all do it.
Our monthly Bitch Fest group.
Yes.
This is genius. Actually.
Let's all do this.
It's so simple. Who doesn't want to go to that? Because we
did it weekly.
Well, most do it nightly. But sorry. But at the end of the day, that is genius. It strips away the stigma of networking group.
No, I think it'd be great.
It would be amazing
you're right.
if you're coming and saying, "Hey, let's just all get together and bitch."
Yeah, it wasn't there to network.
Sure,
right. So
but
it's not this. It's not here to exchange business cards. There was nothing. There was no. It was there to have just to unwind, blow some steam off.
Yeah.
And then knowing we're gonna wake up the next day. And we're going to have
a mad hangover.
Well, that too. And we're going to get back to doing what it was, which was, for many of us, there was many in the group would not make calls. We were one of the few in there that were like, all right, we're going to go make calls. Gripey Hour is my next monthly event.
Gripey Hour.
I like it. But that should be in your community. Get with people that like and trust in the industry, and just
instead of
just
friends
create
of Bill
that.
W. Called Friends of Mortgage Mike. And it'll be a weekly gripe fest. I love it.
No, and
WWMMD.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
So if that is the case, and you start creating that, I will say that helped keep every single one of those people that went to our group therapy on Tuesdays is still in the industry today.
I like that. Okay, so here's what's happening. One, book it. We're doing this. Speaking of hangovers, is this worth resubscribing to Netflix for?
So this is the Johnny Manziel. What is it? The Untold?
It's Untold.
Johnny Manziel Untold?
Untold is a series because they did that. That's the Manti Te'o too, right? That's Untold? No, that was ESPN.
No, it wasn't ESPN.
It was Untold?
I don't think that was ESPN. Was
No,
that
this
30
is
for
just-
30? That wasn't a 30 for 30, was it?
Is the Johnny Manziel 30 for 30?
No,
This
that's
is just
Untold.
Johnny Manziel.
So I think Manti Te'o was Untold.
This is just Johnny football. Okay. Right?
Yeah, it was.
So,
Real quick, just clear that up for me. Was Manti Te'o Untold? That's going to drive me crazy.
no one cares about Manti Te'o.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That
Those
was
are super good.
amazing.
Dude,
I'll go watch it,
Untold.
but-
Crystal
yeah,
loved it.
Netflix. Untold.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Untold.
Yeah, but
Before
this
he
is
pulled it up, I
but
said,
this
yeah,
is not Untold. But this is not Untold. This is a different Netflix. It's not Johnny Manziel. It's Johnny Football takes a close look at that. So it's just Johnny. Oh, it is Untold.
Yeah,
Oh,
Untold is like
okay,
the
yeah.
overarching
Yeah.
series. This is the Johnny Manziel.
Look, I'm
episode.
not a
Was
Johnny
it
Manziel.
was told.
I will be like, I'm not a Johnny Manziel fan. I would never have been. But just watching it, here's what I'll say is he started getting paid. He was taking money for autographs and everything else. And if you watch, is it just one? Is it one season?
It's like
Is
an
it-
hour and 20 minutes.
Is that
That's the
it?
whole
Okay,
thing.
I thought it
Yeah.
was like multiple episodes. So I started watching it yesterday. I'm going to side with him a little bit because
on the
this
payment stuff?
This is back in 2012. They were not getting paid. The president NCAA was like, as long as I'm president here, no player is going to get paid. They get education and all this other.
Sounds like communism to me.
Yeah, and like Texas A&M started. They brought in more money.
$420 million renovation at Kyle Field.
Yeah, so they were profiting off of Manziel
I'm
and
like
his
looking at
fame
tobacco like he disagrees. I don't
and
even know if he
success.
does.
And I'm sorry, like I believe that. Look, everything else off the field he did, he was a little cray. but he deserved to take that money and not get in trouble.
And isn't it funny in hindsight? I mean, I feel like this show is now about to be derailed because we could talk about this for hours. I was actually listening to something on the way over here about SMU joining the ACC and stuff like that.
Oh, they're ACC now?
Yeah, that's the rumor.
We're not even close to the Atlantic.
Nope. Oh my gosh. Go look at all the conferences. Nobody has any. The regions don't matter anymore. But
whose line is it anyway?
Yes. So the thing about SMU, the joke they made is like, well, now that we have the NIL and everybody's making $1 million, like a player can make $1 million. Should SMU get some reparations?
Ruh-roh.
Yeah,
right?
I
Like they got the death penalty.
Destroying your whole program.
They were the
and setting
first
them back.
one to really do this, and all of a sudden, should Bush get his Heisman?
No,
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, like I'll try it out. Like,
But I agree. Manziel
I would just say
should have
my
gotten.
little 2 cents on the payment thing is this is like only relevant in football, and I say this only relevant in basketball because you got to do freshman year. But like coming from a hockey background, we don't think about this shit at all. If you are a great European or Canadian player, you would never go to college. You would play juniors and get paid, and then you would go to the NHL and you get paid even more. Like you are going professional and doing what you can along the way to build your career. And like the college route, it doesn't even make sense.
Same with baseball.
In baseball either. College baseball is a joke compared to if I can get drafted out of high school, I'm almost always doing that.
Except now, because of the NIL.
But now the NIL is actually working against that because now it's so funny because the NIL is actually encouraging more college baseball participation.
Football, everything, every sport. You'll have senior quarterbacks.
because they're getting paid.
Yeah, but like football is the only, because it was so regulated around money that we had those opinions. Baseball players have been getting drafted out of high school since day one and making tons of money, and all it's done is discourage kids from getting an education.
Well, look, you're literally putting your body on the line, like especially football. You can't tell me that a college football player is not a professional. They are professional within that. The school makes money off of them. They're basically that's free labor.
What's your guys' running back name? Go do an Oklahoma drill with him. What's his name?
The one that just got drafted?
Yeah.
Bijan?
And then tell me that they're not just as good as,
Yeah, so I mean,
real shit.
I mean, I look at everything he did. Now, he didn't look at film. He was arrogant and cocky. That's a whole. You can dislike Johnny for that.
Yeah,
and I will.
Great, but from a player standpoint, he was good until he wasn't, and he's probably regretting how he handled that.
Well, I
doubt he is.
I don't think he is, dude.
Because he always has had money.
Yeah. Well,
how?
The oil money from his
wasn't that part of the thing?
You're gonna have to.
You need to watch. Apparently, that's not true.
You need to watch the show.
I heard that on the radio this morning. Me and Jesse were talking about it. Apparently, that's not true.
That's not
on
true.
this show, we don't retract anything.
There you go.
Yeah,
that is true because I said it was true.
That was Uncle Nate. Fabricated a story.
Just kind of have to watch it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I would just say what's so funny is that we just had such hard opinions, the love him or hate him ideology, and you can hate him around the cockiness or whatever. He was just from a financial standpoint, he's just ahead of his time because everything that he was doing back then under the table is now perfectly legal.
Yeah,
it's just it's just the. We don't like that you're doing it because you're the only one doing it, but you're also probably making a lot of sense. And don't we do this with politics and a lot of other things in our lives?
Yeah.
Like once they become legal, we're like, yeah, that should have always been legal.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to get too
Anything
far
else you
in
want
the
to talk
weeds.
about?
Yeah, I don't want to get too far in the weeds there, right?
Yep.
Funny choice of words, too.
I wasn't even. I was actually going a different direction, but that as well.
Yeah. So, go watch the Johnny Manziel if you're into college sports or just a sports lover in general. Because I'm not a college football fan. In fact, I dislike it.
Me
but
either.
They should get paid. Look. Hopefully you go back and listen to the beginning of this because the last part was obviously a football-related reference. And so you're not 144 days out from your new career because you're going to go take action.
Take action, man. Go do the thing.
You're going to lead generate.
Do.
You're going to do what you need to do. You're going to use Mortgage Mike if you're here in Texas or in Oklahoma. So use Mortgage Mike, mmgloans.com, the Mortgage Mike group. He's giving you that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval. And then when you're done with that, I guess Theron's still a sponsor of the show, I guess.
The clock is ticking.
Yeah. We need to put up a clock symbol, falling clocks, Jesse, and say, send your home warranties over to Theron Smith over at armadillo.1/Tor, Tore. And if you have an investor client or I am starting to see the request for property managers picking back up. Which makes sense because people aren't selling. If they're not selling their houses, they're looking at renting. So if you're looking for a Dallas-Fort Worth property management company, get with Homeward DFW. Dana Wynn is the property manager on that. She's amazing. HomewardDFW.com. And then last but not least, if you want to talk college football, you want to talk politics, you want to talk about anything, real estate, mortgage, plumbing, get with Jesse at Tor Studios.
Let's do, oh my gosh.
Also great beards.
Yeah.
Should we start a college football podcast?
No.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to as well. Jesse, can we do it?
Sure.
TorStudios.com.
Sweet. We're doing it.
All right, Jesse, get us out of here. Thanks, Mortgage Mike.
Anytime.
Hey, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. Checking out another episode of the Only Real Estate Podcast worth listening to. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead, hit that share button, hit that like button, and hit the subscribe button. Right? We're dropping more stuff on YouTube constantly. If you're on iTunes, leave us a review, please. We're really, really focused on building up those reviews so we can get more searchable content on there. And if you're on Facebook, like everyone else is, go over and search the Only Real Estate Group worth being a part of. You're going to want to go join that group. I'm telling you right now, there's so much gold in there. So go join, share us on YouTube, and leave us that iTunes review, please. Go do it right now. We'll see you on the next show.